viewers. My name is Pastor Yvonne Chipindu as we are still continuing on Kingdom Currency. If you remember very well, I even say that this currency has got no boundaries. For you can use it for the one who is not well. If you want to buy something, you can use it as long as you believe as a child of God. And I want to take you to the scriptures from Daniel chapter 1. We shall read from verse 3. I shall read for you. And the king told Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, to bring in some of the children of Israel, both of the royal family and of the nobility, youths without blemish, well-favored in appearance, and skillful in all wisdom, discernment and understanding, apt in learning knowledge, competent to stand and serve in the king's palace, and to teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans. I shall read verse 8. But Daniel determined in his heart that he would not defile himself by eating his portion of the king's rich and dainty food, or by drinking the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the chief of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Verse 9, now God made Daniel to find favor, compassion, and loving kindness with the chief of the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear lest my lord the king, who has appointed your food and your drink, should see your faces worse looking or more sad than the other youths of your age. Then you would endanger my head with the king. So now this story is about the king. He wanted some people to represent him in his ruling. So he chose some youths, and Daniel was among them. And when you chose them, he wanted them to be bigger. So you actually gave them a diet. So now Daniel refused to eat the king's diet. And now he's asking one of the eunuchs if he could only him. There were four actually. There was Daniel, there's Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the four of them. If they could be excluded from the king's diet and only be allowed to eat vegetables and water. I shall continue verse 12. Prove your servants, I beseech you, for 10 days, and let us be given a vegetable diet and water to drink. Then let our appearance and the appearance of the youths who eat of the king's dainties be observed and compared by you, and deal with us, your servants, according to what you see. Verse 14, so this man consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, it was seen that they were looking better and had taken on more flesh than all the youths who ate of the king's rich dainties. So like I said, that this kingdom currency, we can use it anyway as children of God. Now Daniel didn't want to be defiled by the king's deity, and he refused to eat his deity and asked from the eunuch if they could only eat the vegetable and water. And when they were compared with those in 10 days, those who were eating the king's deity, Daniel and his three friends, they were found to have more flesh. They were actually stronger than the ones that have eaten the king's deity. Why? This is actually proving to us that as children of God, in any situation that we are, as long as we put this kingdom currency, as long as we put faith first, we will not fail. As Daniel had not failed, he refused the king's deity, but because, imagine if you are only eating vegetables and you are stronger than someone who's eating protein and starch. They were only eating vegetables. How is that possible? It is possible because he had faith in God, because he had intimacy with his God, so that intimacy and that faith made them to be better looking than the other one who were eating the king's deity, because those who ate the king's deity didn't have the faith that these guys have, were not intimate with God as compared to Daniel and his friends. I also want to read for you in Matthew chapter 27, we are talking about the death of Jesus Christ. As we have said, that this currency has no boundaries. You can use it anyway, as long as you believe in your God. We want to read Matthew chapter 27 from verse 50 up to 53. Verse 50, and Jesus cried again with a loud voice and gave up his spirit. This is when he died. We have had many relatives of us who have died, but when they died, nothing happened. Even in the ground, even our relationship, we know that it ended there and there as soon as we buried them. But listen to this. I shall read verse 51. And at once the curtain of the sanctuary of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook and the rocks were split, because Jesus had this currency, because he had this intimate with God. When he died, the rocks split, the earth shook, just to show you that this one was a child of God and that this one was intimate with God. I shall continue. The tombs were opened. So his death made other people's tombs to be open. These were people that had died long time ago, but there were tombs were open just because of his death. I shall continue. Bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep in death were raised to life. So there was a resurrection after he died, because he was intimate with God. I shall continue verse 53. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many people. So when Jesus Christ died, because he carried this kingdom in him, he had this currency with him, there was the resurrection of the dead saints. Imagine if you die, what will happen as a child of God? And as we are still continuing tomorrow, kingdom currency, if you have enjoyed this message, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share. Stay blessed.